Chapter 11. School Goddess. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Good morning, Serena, right? Again, I am Giselle and this is my cousin Via. Would you care to join us in exploring the school grounds? The girl who sat beside Serena asked her in a friendly manner while introducing her cousin who sat in front of her. Sure, thank you for inviting me, Giselle, Via. Serena replied as she smiled back. Would you mind if I join you? I am Millicent, by the way, you may call me Millie. The girl in front of Serena cut in. Of course, Millie. Let's go. Giselle replied, being the self-appointed leader of the group. The group of four collected their pouches. As they left the class, Serena was able to observe that cliques already started to form. Serena stood beside Giselle, walking in front, while Millie and Via stood behind them. So, Serena, is it true that you are the fiancée of Crown Prince Geoffrey? Giselle asked, being quite the gossip monger. Ah. Well. Kinda. Serena answered, feeling awkward. Well, soon to be ex-fiancé, but still a fiancé now. Well, I heard about it from Mother. She said that the Queen was so upset at that time as the Kingdom of Horus wanted to form ties with Windsor through marriage. However, the princess is still so young. She just turned 12 this year. Talking about princesses, what can you say about Teacher Grace? Isn't she just wonderful? Millie chimed in. Yes, I just want to be like her in the future. Via replied seriously. The four of them walked through the school and Serena was able to gauge the characters of her newfound friends. Giselle and Via were from the kingdom of Militia. Giselle was a daughter of Marquis Morris. She was outspoken and quite the gossip. She has an older brother who is a senior this year. Via was the firstborn child of Earl Gonzalez, who is also a general. Coming from a military family, she is a little quiet and serious. The two were maternal cousins. Millie was from Horus. She is the youngest daughter of Earl Stark. She was also a gossip and hit it off immediately with Giselle as the two of them had a lot in common. Serena, having had a daughter and granddaughter, found it easy to get along with the girls. She also liked them. No problem, even if we're not in school, you may continue to do so, as you are now my friends. Wow. Thanks, Serena. I can't wait to write my mother and tell her that I became friends with the future Queen of Windsor. Don't worry, I will note that she should tell the Queen to forsake her idea regarding the Crown Prince, as you are the most beautiful girl in the Empire. Millie said enthusiastically, which made Serena blush. Yes, I totally agree with Millie. How do you make your skin so white and blemish-free? I need to take pointers from you, Serena. The Crown Prince must be head over heels for you. We saw him earlier during his speech. He is also very handsome. You guys are a match made in heaven. Giselle added. Well, I don't want to burst your imaginary bubbles, but Crown Prince Geoffrey and I haven't even been introduced to each other. Besides, being his wife is not yet written in stone. With regards to beauty, I don't know about being the most beautiful. But personally, I think all of you have your own points. Besides, true beauty comes from within. Serena said with a smile, showing both her dimples, exuding her charm. Well, although I do enjoy my current beauty, I also did experience my skin becoming wrinkled with age. But it is indeed true that these three are also quite pretty. Although one can say that the female lead is only second to Serena in terms of beauty, other characters were not treated badly. Most of the students were not bad looking, in fact more than half have above average looks. Via was the tallest amongst them. She stood at 5'8", has brunette hair, olive skin and brown eyes. She exudes exotic beauty reminiscent of girls from the Mediterranean. Giselle has similar features, only a little shorter. Standing at 5'6", she is the second tallest. The two had well-proportioned body. Millie was of the same height as Serena, standing at 5'5", she has fair skin, red hair, and hazel eyes. Although not as beautiful as the other two, what was outstanding was her voluptuous body that cannot be hidden by her dress. Not only is she beautiful, she also has a kind heart. Even though I'm a girl, I want to propose to you already. Millie exclaimed exaggeratedly while grinning from ear to ear. It was unknown to Serena that during this time, she has already been the center of attention of almost all the boys in school. When she entered the assembly hall, she immediately became their white moonlight. Thus, it was not surprising that when all the first-year boys were dismissed early, they tried to look for her. In the hallway of the East Wing, she, along with her friends, did not notice that the boys were actually trying to listen to their conversation. A lot of hearts were broken when they learned of her name. They can only sigh when she smiled that smile which put the flowers in bloom to shame. It may be true that her marriage is not yet written in stone, but what kind of idiot will not marry her? Not only was she very beautiful, she also sounds so humble. She's not just an angel. She must be a goddess. Short to say, Serena earned the title School Goddess that day. Chapter 12. Joining the swimming club. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Are you really going to join the swimming club? Via asked Serena, Giselle, and Millie. The four of them were already sitting in class while waiting for Teacher Grace to arrive. Of course. How can we not? Giselle answered her cousin in an offended tone, as if not joining is the gravest mistake she can make in life. It would be nice if you were to join us too. Serena added. While looking around the campus yesterday, Serena was able to assess that joining the swimming club is the most beneficial in the morning. First, it is strategically located below the mezzanine where the fencing club is. Thus, if she wanted to see Charlton, she just needs to look up, or him down if he wants to see her. Second, when will she get the chance to show more skin to him if not when wearing a swimsuit? Thankfully, even though they are in a Victorian-esque era, swimwear for women is not a bathing gown. Rather, reminisce of the Annette Kellerman, it is a one-piece swimsuit that is sleeve-less, form-fitting, and reaches mid-thigh. I can't wait to wear the swimsuit. If my parents were to find out, I don't know what they will do to me. But I just can't help it. When I saw the picture yesterday, it already exceeded my desire to wear the school uniform. Millie added, having stars on her eyes. I just can't. Apologies, I rather choose to join archery. Let's just see each other during music club. Via said frowning. The rest of the day yesterday was spent with the girls. They went to her room making oohs and ahs, saying that she must have the best room in the dorm. Thus, she was not able to, unexpectedly, meet Charlton. She also realized that Leonard did not visit her. However, she knows that it will not be easy to meet them even when they are in the same campus given their different schedules. Good morning everyone. Please pass this paper around and write the name of the clubs you will be joining at the 2 columns beside your name. Grace said as she placed her materials on the teacher's table. This time, she started giving the paper at the girl sitting in front beside the door. When the paper reached Serena, she looked at Emily's name. Just like in the novel, Emily joined polo and music. Previously, Serena joined the same and was outshined in both. Jeffrey was also part of the polo club and that was the reason why Serena joined it. However, instead of her hope for romantic encounters coming to fruition, it backfired on her. Serena, being the prima donna that she was, can't even mount a horse on her own. She even detests riding or being near a horse for she hates its smell. Most of the people joining polo were fond of horses and seeing her being too nitpicky did not leave a good impression. Aside from that, beginners like her were separated from skilled riders. Thus, she had suffered half a year for nothing but foul stench and a bad reputation. After everyone was done writing on the paper, lessons started for the day. The tables had a compartment under it in which the books of each student were placed. Serena was glad to discover that only the subjects history and geography were different. Mathematics was just basic algebra. Economics was too easy as that was her major in her previous life, reading well, meh. It's just actually simple logic, and biology, well although she hated that subject it's still bearable. The initial pressure she felt in going back to school was quickly forgotten. I can just breeze through this, Serena thought with a smile. The days passed quickly and soon it was Friday. The day before, she with Giselle and Millie bought their swimsuit. Unlike the school uniform that is custom-made, the swimsuit has a prototype and was just distinguished by small, medium, and large size. "Milady, the 3 Misses is outside waiting for you," Beatrice said after knocking on the bedroom. Serena was looking at the mirror wearing her swimsuit at that time. "Oh, all right, please let them in," Serena answered. "Wow, I'm so beautiful and sexy. Can I now be considered a siren?" she thought as she blinked and blew a kiss on the mirror. When she was properly dressed, she went outside her bedroom to see her friends. "Let's go, Serena, we'll be late if you take any longer," Millie said excitedly. Finally, she was able to wear it under her clothes, and later she will be able to show it off. The 4 of them first sent Via to the archery grounds. She was surprised to see Leonard there. She has not seen him after the school assembly. Leonard, seeing Serena, approached her first. "Good morning, Serena," Leonard said as he lightly nodded at her friends. "How have you been these days?" "I'm doing fine, brother Leonard. By the way, these are my friends, Via, Giselle and Millie," Serena said sweetly. "Good morning, thank you for taking care of my sister," Leonard said politely. "What are you doing here? Are you also joining archery?" "No, we're just sending Via here. Giselle, Millie and I are joining the swimming club." Leonard frowned. Did I hear her right? Swimming. She must have been influenced by these so-called friends of hers. "Well, which art club did you join?" Serena asked offhandedly. She knows that he is part of the music club together with his 3 friends. "Music. How about you?" "Same, we'll see each other after lunch then. Anyways, see you later, brother." "We'll go ahead," Serena said with a smile. "All right. See you later." While walking towards the swimming club, Millie and Giselle started squealing. "Serena, your brother is so dreamy. If I knew that there's a man as handsome as that in archery, I would have joined Via just to see him. Hoo hoo. I'm starting to regret it now." Giselle whined. "I agree, but then again, I won't be able to wear the swimsuit if I made that choice. Hopefully, we can see more handsome guys in swimming class. I can already imagine their bare chests," Millie said as she wiggled her brows. Not long after, they arrived at the swimming venue. They went to the locker room to change. "Oh my, Serena, I thought I will be the best-looking gal wearing a swimsuit, but look at you. I don't know if I should laugh or cry at myself," Millie said with a pout. Wearing the swimsuit, Millie was very fetching. Her voluptuous body almost making the swimsuit scandalous. However, with Serena beside her, she would still pale in comparison. Serena has alabaster white skin which complements the navy color of their swimsuit. Her body was curvaceous at all the right places. The title school goddess does not fail you. If I were to imagine the goddess Aphrodite, your picture now would come to mind," Giselle said smilingly. "Oh, well, rightfully so, I didn't eat dinner last night and breakfast earlier just to achieve this look," Serena said while laughing. "Well, that at least gives me much consolation," Millie said good-naturedly. Chapter 13. Soon, my friend, you are listening at novelfull.audio. The 3 started walking towards the pool area. They arrived 5 minutes before 9, but there were less people than expected. Serena observed that there were only less than 20 students present and all of them were girls. The girls were all pretty with well-proportioned body. They were all huddled together giggling and looking up from time to time. When the group of girls saw them, they quickly waved and beckoned them to join. "So there are still new members coming?" I thought only 5 freshmen joined this year, but I'm glad to note that there are 8 of you. Welcome to the swimming club. By the way, I am Julia, a senior. The girl who seems to be the leader of the group greeted them. She was a very pretty brunette. Thank you for the warm welcome, Miss Julia. The girls replied as they introduced themselves. No need to be so formal, all of us here are sisters. It has been an unwritten rule for us to call each other as sis. Julia said as all the girls giggled and started gossiping. Wow sis, never thought that more beautiful girls will be joining our club. Surely, those men upstairs will go gaga this time. Oh my, no male joined this year. What a pity. Last year there were still 3 men who joined us, but now there is none. Well, look up, this time there are so many more male members in the fencing club. HMPFT, they are getting more outrageous, at least last year they still have the decency to pretend that they are not looking, this time it's obviously ogling, as if their eyes might just pop out. Haha. Well, what can we do? We are undeniably the most gorgeous beings they have ever laid their eyes on. Then the girls started giggling more. Covering their mouths with their hands and looking up coyly, openly flirting with their eyes. From this, one can say that obviously, the swimming club is where the most vain but beautiful girls in campus congregate. Serena glanced up quickly, and true to their words, she saw from the corner of her eyes that most of the boys were openly staring at them like vultures. Hey, did you just see Mr. Kylo and Mr. Charlton? Did they just look my way? The girl beside Serena exclaimed while fanning her face with her hands. Hearing the name, Serena's back straightened. Did he see me? Wait, I must fix my posture. Serena consciously raised her right arm, sweeping her hair to the side so that her slightly wavy golden hair were atop her right breast, leaving a clear view of her collarbones and swan-like neck. When she felt that her move and posture was seductive enough, she looked at where the girl was peeking. Her effort was not in vain. Her eyes zeroed in on Charlton, who was also looking at her with his brows furrowed. Am I too far away for him not to see properly? I should just make him notice me then. Serena directly looked at Charlton, she smiled at him cutely, her eyes crinkling as she waved her fingers and mouthed, "Hi. I can't believe I let Kylo convince me to join this club. Most of the boys here doesn't even know how to hold a sword. And although I must admit that looking through the balcony and seeing scantily clad maidens have its appeal, I'm tired of those games we used to play." Charlton thought as he looked at the boys leaning forward at the rails, as if even missing a glimpse will make their world end. What's with that look? It's not like we haven't been like that once upon a time. Kylo said jokingly. Don't remind me. Just looking at them make me feel embarrassed as a man. Anyway, there's not much to see down there. I've seen more, Charlton replied with a smirk. You will eat your words if you look now. Following Kylo's eyes, Charlton first saw her golden mane. Then her form-fitting attire showing too much skin. Further down he saw her long, straight and slender legs. He can't stop his face from turning red, to white, to green, then finally settling to a sour look as if he just drank a pitcher of vinegar. Is that Serena? What is she doing wearing that? Does Leonard know? Although he admits that he is more than pleased with her look, he doesn't appreciate the fact that this view is being shared with all the boys there. When Serena raised her arm and moved her hair, he can't help but swallow. His Adam's apple bobbing. The whiteness of her exposed skin made him want to go down and cover her with his own body. However, when she looked up at him, smiled and waved with her dainty fingers, he couldn't stop his brows from furrowing. Did Serena just openly flirt with me while all these people are staring? Is she in her right mind? What's going on in that head of hers? Charlton asked himself, baffled. He felt Kylo elbow him. Hey Charlie, should I really start calling you Lancelot? Kylo teased him. Stop that Kylo, it's not funny. Charlton grimaced. Not wanting to look rude, he nodded his head at Serena as he walked away, Kylo tailing him. What? What happened to you? If I were in your shoes, I'll just go and give it to her. Kylo said as he laughed. What the hell are you saying, Kylo? Don't you forget that she's our cousin's fiancée and the sister of our friend. Just saying. What's so bad about that? Look, she fancies you, and I highly doubt that you don't find her attractive. We're young and can afford to be wild. She joined the swimming club, what does that say about her? If not you, then I don't know which lucky bastard will try to get under her skirt. Besides, at the very least she can experience more than just being directly stuck with our iceberg cousin in the future. If it were me she gives that look to, ha. I'll just go dive in and grab a taste. Kylo laughed, half joking, half serious. Stop that. You're making too much assumption. If Leonard were ever to hear you besmirching his sister's reputation, of course, he will never hear nor know. Will you tell him? Now, I, for sure know that when, and I'm saying when and not if, you decide to have a bite of that forbidden apple, I'll cover for you. I'll even cheer you on. Then that prick of a cousin of ours can have a taste of his own medicine. Tit for tat. What did he do to you? Charlton asked, confused. Well, nothing much. It's just that I sometimes want to push him off his high horse. Such a pretentious bastard. Thankfully, I need not suffer his almighty self this year. I don't know how you and Leonard ever cope. I never thought that you have been holding so much grudge. Where did that bad blood come from? Haha. Nothing really, just annoyed that he gets all the better girls. I still love him, dude. By the way, whatever happened with your talk with him? He didn't want to talk about it. You know how stubborn he can get. Well, what can I do? Force him to break up with that girl. I don't even have any idea who she is. Well, right. It's not like we haven't got our fair share of those kinds of affair. Well, you did, but I haven't. My conscience is clear. Kylo laughed at Charlton, then patted his back. Soon, my friend. Soon. TBC. Chapter 14. Fencing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Serena was disappointed to see that all her efforts just received a mere nod from Charlton. He didn't seem to appreciate it that much. Oh well, perhaps there's something wrong with his eyes, I saw him using eye glasses last time. What's with that look? Who was that? Giselle and Millie were shocked, along with all those who saw what she did earlier. Oh. He. He's my brother's friend. Just greeting him, don't mind me. Serena answered, trying to look innocent and holding in her own laughter. Well, soon to be my own boyfriend, would you mind introducing me? Never thought that I'll be seeing the most handsome man I've ever laid my eyes on today. Pretty please. If I can get him as my fiancé, my God. Millie said with a red face. Don't even dream about it, he is mine. The girl beside Serena violently reacted. Peace be with you, sis, but seems like he didn't appreciate any of us earlier. But good luck to the both of you. Giselle chimed in, not wanting a cat fight to break out. By the way, Serena, do you know the guy beside him? He's just my type, she added. Serena just raised her left brow, hearing the girl beside her laying claim on what she considered was hers. Whatever is she deluding herself for? Has she looked in the mirror? HMPFT, however, she still must be a white lotus flower, so she just smiled at the girl, then replied to her friend. The one beside him is Kylo, the second prince of Allegheny. I can introduce you guys to him, but he's a rake, don't tell me I didn't warn you. Serena replied, choosing not to comment regarding Charlton. Not long after, a woman in her mid-30s wearing a form-fitting overall with a whistle and a clipboard arrived. Obviously, she was their swimming instructor. She introduced herself as Instructor Michelle Phelps, who hailed from Gia. Gia is a kingdom surrounded by the sea, and there, it was imperative for all citizens to learn swimming, whether it be for leisure or survival. She had dark skin and curly black hair. She was average looking and seems approachable. She told them that this is her first time teaching formally, nonetheless she already had experience teaching young nobles in her country. Last year, the swimming club had a male instructor, but due to a certain mishap, and considering that majority of its members were female, the school decided to hire a female instructor. Miss Phelps gave an introduction on what they will be learning this year. She said that there is an importance in learning to swim, as although it is a leisure activity that is good for exercise, it is also a necessary survival skill. Serena was able to count that there were 19 of them in the club. Of which, 5 were seniors, 6 were second years and 8 were freshmen, wherein 5 of them came from her own class. Miss Phelps noted that the senior students have been members of the swimming club since their first year. She asked them to do mentorship with the freshmen. However, that task was doomed to fail. Apparently, these students only ever learn to frolic around, dipping at the side of the pool, trying to appear like sirens. Serena can only pity Miss Phelps, for she too is a member with only that in mind. Their instructor can only sigh. Meanwhile in the fencing club, Charlton felt rather than saw the stares of the other boys, as if thinking that their glares can make him bleed. This was put to stop when their instructor, who seems to be in his early 30s, together with his 2 assistants arrived. Good morning everyone. I am Marcus de Legaspi, your fencing instructor, and these are Juanito and Pedro, my assistants. This year, we received 98 names for this club. All boys unsurprisingly. Now, don't think I do not know what is running in your heads. The view from here is indeed spectacular. However, the boat is sinking, and sadly, only 70 can be saved. When he said that, the air in the room suddenly turned cold. This is bad news, for the lot of them. Mr. Marcus, how will it be decided on who gets to stay? Wouldn't it be unfair if it were to be based on skills with a sword? The reason why most of us joined is to learn. Kylo asked for the sake of asking. So a brave soul now dares to ask and even suggest. What is your name? If not that, then what do you have in mind? I am Kylo Lewis, and I suggest that we do it by drawing lots. At least this way, we will all be given a fair chance. Kylo replied, feeling Charlton glowering beside him. That sounds just about right. All right everyone. Please wait for a moment while my assistants prepare the drawing lot. I do hope that that plan of yours backfire at you. Charlton told Kylo in a low voice. Well, I just wanted fair play. If it were to be based on skill, you will just KO everyone here. Where's the thrill in that? Didn't you say that there's nothing to see here anyway? Kylo laughed as he teased him. Fine, I take it back. Now how do we ensure that we get to stay? Ha! Now I get to see your true colors. You will have to thank me later. Why will I need to thank you? This is your stupid plan. You don't even know what Mr. Marcus had in mind. Anyway, you see Juanito there. What about him? I got dirt on him. He will of course try to curry favor from me. What did he do? He's having an affair with one of the students here in school. Ha! What about it? He's still young and besides, he's just an assistant. Not the instructor. Well, the thing is, the one he is having an affair with is a boy. All right. Let me steer clear from him, thanks for the heads up. Well, that's what friends are for. The swimming club was dismissed early since there were only a few of them and it was their first day. Anyways, the girls learned how to do bubbles for the day. Serena looked up and saw that the fencing class have not yet been dismissed. While around her, she observed that most of the girls were not yet leaving. All the chaise lounges facing the fencing club were also occupied. Seems like these girls are waiting for the boys to come down later. Where are you going? Please wait a second, we'll join you. Giselle said, trying to get up from the pool. No, no need, you two stay there and enjoy the pool. I want to do something. Oh come on Giselle, I'm sure Serena wants to see her Prince Charming. She wouldn't want us third-wheeling on her date. You go girl. Millie said cheerfully. Serena just smiled at Millie and nodded. Well, no need to deny the truth. Is that so? Hee hee, Serena, you naughty girl. Good luck and don't forget to share the juicy details later, Giselle added as she waved her goodbye. TBC. Chapter 15. Rejected. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Serena quickly showered and wore the dress which she painstakingly prepared for today. She, with the help of Beatrice, altered her Empire peach dress so that it now has a low-cut square neckline with slightly puffed short sleeves. She left her hair down, hoping that the smell of her freshly washed hair will reach Charlton's nostrils. She looked like a temptress, but one cannot simply find fault in her attire. Satisfied with her look while tucking her hair behind her left ear, she went out of the bathroom. She saw that the girls still haven't left the pool while upstairs. She also saw that fencing class is about to be dismissed. Not wanting to miss her chance, she quickly moved and walked towards the stairs. After a while, Serena got tired of waiting beside the stairs. She noticed that a lot of boys were eyeing her, perhaps wanting to talk to her but not brave enough to do so. Why haven't Charlton come down yet? Don't tell me that he is also trying to ogle some girls. Unlikely, he shouldn't be like that based on the novel. Must be Kylo. With this thought she took it upon herself to climb up. Hey, you won't believe this. I just saw the goddess outside, seems like she's waiting for someone. Joshua, who just entered the shower room, told Charlton and Kylo as he approached them. Goddess. Well, that's new. Who is she and who is she waiting for? Kylo asked, curious. Who else is the goddess? Can't believe your sources are too slow now, Kylo. She has been given that title since day one, the blonde bombshell who just waved at Charlton earlier. By the way, what's her name? Can you give me an introduction? Just in case you know. Joshua said, smiling while scratching his head. No chance in hell. Don't you know? She's the one who is engaged to Jeffrey. Another boy, named Vincent, cut in. Oi, I'm not talking to you. Besides, Jeffrey. Seriously. How can she bear that friggin' iceberg? Isn't she afraid of freezing in Antarctica? Kylo laughed at the two while teasingly wiggled his eyebrows at Charlton. Well, she must have figured that out on her own, so she must be waiting for Mr. Sunshine here. This is unbelievable. Charlton said exasperatedly. He just finished dressing himself while Kylo still only has a towel wrapped around his waist. What is unbelievable, my friend, is you, still standing here. Wait, I still don't get it. Charlton, what is your relationship to her? I really wish for an introduction. Doesn't matter if she's engaged. I just want to see her up close. Joshua, not being able to read the mood, yapped. I'll see you later. Charlton just said as he turned to leave. Might as well just bite the bullet. Serena was standing beside the stairs going down. There were not a lot of students left and she still hadn't spotted Charlton. She was just about to consider leaving when she saw him exiting what she assumed was the locker room. His hair, which was not fully dried, was brushed back, indicating that he just took a shower. He was now wearing his school uniform rather than the more casual fencing attire she saw him adorn earlier. He was a sight for sore eyes, and she was happy to note that Kylo was not with him. She smiled at him and instead of waiting for him to come over, she approached him halfway. Lady Maxwell, I'm pleased to see you, but may I ask why you're here? Charlton asked, testing the waters. At the same time looking straight at her face, trying hard not to look down towards the eye-catching swell of her breast. Just Serena, Lord Daniel, or... May I address you as Charlton? I'm actually here to collect the offer of you touring me around in school. Serena replied, batting her eyelashes, smiling coquettishly. If Charlton had any doubts earlier, this time he can just smash his own head if he still pretended not to understand her. Serena could see him thinking, and she knows that when one allowed a person to think in this situation, the answer might be less than satisfying. Thus, she didn't give him the chance to respond. She directly looped her right arm to his left, just like the other girl during the first day. "Let's go?" Serena asked as she looked at him under her long eyelashes. Charlton breathed deeply and closed his eyes. When he opened them, he stared directly into her eyes as he removed his arm from her grasp. He held both of her hands in his as he said, "Forgive me. Leonard is on the archery field. I will send you to him, Lady Maxwell. I can walk myself," she exclaimed as she snatched her hands away from his and walked away. TBC. Chapter 16. Meeting the male lead. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Serena was not in the mood to see nor talk to anyone after being rejected by a man for the first time in her 2 lifetimes. Breath in, breath out. Serena, you can't blame him for rejecting you. Aside from the day when Leonard introduced you and when your eyes met during the assembly, you have not met each other nor spent time with each other. It's your own fault that you assumed too much. Not because you felt like you already know him, which you kinda do by reading the novel, means that he knows you. But why does this hurt so much? It feels like my heart is being pierced and I can't breathe properly. Serena told herself as she held her aching chest while walking back towards her dorm. When she arrived back, she went inside her bedroom, shedding some tears of heartbreak and frustration. Perhaps I feel this way because I have one-sidedly invested all my attention to that one single man. I've thought of a lot of possibilities, but not the possibility of him rejecting me. What should I do now? Should I move on to the next target? But he's the best-looking man around. It's not his fault, he just hadn't known me well yet. He's nice and upright. His rejection just means that he respects me and his friends. Besides, I haven't really confessed anything. Come on, Serena, you can't give up now. He must like you too. He will not shake his head at you when a girl held his arm if he doesn't. Remember. That's just how he is. He has been programmed that way. Although he might like a person, he will still act in a reasonable manner. Recall the novel. However, it seems like I must level up. I might be the most beautiful woman around, but it seems like my Charlton is not that shallow. Also, it's a challenge to have him come out of his shell and claim me. I doubt that his walls won't crumble when I choose to persevere. Serena told herself, successfully convincing herself that she must persist in her cause of seducing the second male lead, Charlton. As her lunch date plan was thwarted, she had Beatrice prepare it for her. Afterwards, she had her hair braided in a low bun exposing her neck. She still chose to wear the same dress as it fit her delectably. Ha! Although he is not shallow, I know that he still can't take his eyes off me. When he saw her standing there, wearing that slip of a dress exposing her white arms and her décolletage that he so wanted to explore, he wanted nothing more than to embrace her in both his arms and hide her inside his room. What man can deny her when she so offered herself in a silver platter? He approached her only after reining in his desire. When she saw him approaching, she too walked towards him, as if telling him that she can't wait to be near him. Then, she smiled and he felt that she is more beautiful than sunrise. He is not a poet, but he felt like he can endlessly write one for her. What she told him was akin to a confession, and he cannot be sorry enough for himself for being a sensible coward. Yes, a coward. He knows that what she has for him is mere infatuation. He already met a lot of girls who, like her, were infatuated with him, and he also did take advantage once upon a time. He is no innocent in that matter, but he has been a changed man since leaving Allegheny. Aside from that, she is not just any girl. She is the fiancée of his cousin and the sister of one of his closest friends. Nevertheless, the main difference between then and now, is that this time, he knows that what he feels for her is more than just that. He may have only met her twice or thrice, but his heart has already been ensnared. Honestly, He is not afraid of the consequences if he knew that she will be able to bear it with him. However, he will never be able to forgive himself when she comes to regret it. You did the right thing, Charlton. She would be thankful when she's able to think it through. Why are you still here? Kylo asked as he saw Charlton standing outside like a statue still. Charlton shook his head and sighed. Let's not talk about it. Oh come on man, did she change her mind last minute because she suddenly finds you lacking? Haha. By the way, did you find out what art class she chose? No, I didn't get to ask. Charlton replied as they went downstairs. Oh, I just hope that Leonard warned her not to join painting, sculpting, or dancing. Those boys will have a feast if she did. By the way, can I still change clubs? I don't want to hear you. Leonard and especially Jeffrey singing in music. It might give me nightmares. No can do. I joined fencing for you, so you must do me the same favor. I'm so not returning to sculpting. My eyes have forever been sullied. What's so bad about that? Art is art. It's not my fault that David wanted to prove that his little brother is not the same size as the other popular Davids. Ha ha ha. Hey, wait, speak of the devil, is that Leonard? I thought he'll just join us later in class. Charlton saw Leonard walking towards their building. Leonard, over here. Kylo called him. Leonard approached his two friends and asked, did you guys see my sister? She told me that she joined swimming club. I'm actually here to fetch her. Kylo looked at Charlton and when Charlton shook his head, he just knew what to say. The swimming class was dismissed ahead of time. I think she left early. I see. Thank you for the information. I was hoping to talk to her during lunch. It seems like her new friends are of bad influence. I can't believe she joined that club, Leonard said, defending his sister right away even when not asked. I highly doubt that it's her friend's influence. But no need to tell Leonard that. Kylo thought. You should have warned her beforehand. Charlton commented. It's my fault indeed. Leonard sighed as he continued, since you guys are in fencing, please watch over my sister. If any of the boys dare to approach her. No worries Leo, if anyone dares, Charlton here will surely know what to do. Kylo replied with a laugh as he slapped Charlton's shoulder. Okay, I give you my gratitude in advance. I'm actually having a headache since earlier. My sister is joining music and I'm thinking of whether I should give her an introduction with Jeffrey. He's been acting strange as of late. Charlton suddenly stopped walking, feeling as if he was struck by lightning. He had to give himself a few seconds to compose himself. What do you mean strange? Kylo asked, not failing to notice Charlton's pale face. I really think that he's got it bad. I don't know. I thought he will be the one asking me for an introduction, but he's been acting like my sister doesn't exist. I also noticed that he has been evading me, as if hiding something. Actually, I've noticed it since last year, but it's gotten worse now. On the other hand, this is also one of the reasons why I've been avoiding Serena. I'm not sure if she would want an introduction. I haven't spent too much time with her since we were children to know. Woe is me, I must say. Just let it be, you know Jeffrey in his aversion to being controlled by his father. He'll get over it someday. Kylo advised seriously. I do hope so too. Thankfully, Serena is sensible. She hasn't asked about him since we left the duchy. Hey Charlton, why so silent? Leonard asked, noticing Charlton not saying anything. Ha! Nothing, just thinking of our assignment. Charlton replied. Okay, let's just go grab some lunch, my treat. They say that when it rains, it pours. Serena entered music club early to make sure that she saves a seat for her brother, which will make Charlton sit near her too. However, the first thing that she saw was Emily being introduced to Charlton. How can she forget that this is where the two of them first met? In the novel, Emily was introduced to Charlton by the music teacher. Emily, being the female lead, was a music prodigy who plays the piano in the church for orphans every Sunday. The music teacher who was once Charlton's tutor, has long been a fan. Thus, later, the teacher will ask them to perform a piano duet for the class, and seeing that they are so well in tune, he will pair them up for the rest of the year. I am so not letting that happen, Serena thought as she quickly tried to walk towards them. The music room was semicircle in shape, downward sloping with stairs, where the stage is at the bottom. Serena, who just entered the room, was at the very top, while Charlton, Kylo, Leonard, Emily and the music teacher, Felix, was at the bottom. The five heard someone enter the room and turned to face her. On the other hand, Serena, due to her hastening, did not notice that the next step is already a stair leading down. Leonard, being at the other end of the room, can only shout her name to warn her. But it was too late. Serena could not stop her feet because of her heavy footstep and can only brace herself for the fall as she promptly lost her balance. Suddenly, she felt an arm wrapping around her waist, hoisting her up. When she turned her head to thank her savior, her eyes can only widen. Turned out, her savior is the so-called male lead, her fiancé, Crown Prince Geoffrey. TBC. Chapter 17. Music Class I. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Serena first saw Geoffrey from afar, she thought him way too pretentious for her taste. She never did pay attention to his looks, given how bad her impression of him was based on the novel. This time, standing in front of him, she would be a hypocrite if she were to say that she didn't feel her heart stutter. His eyes were of vivid blue and his hair was black as ebony. He gave of a serious and cold aura, but it truly suited him. If one were to compare, Charlton was like the sun, while Geoffrey was like the moon. His title of male-led was well deserved. When Geoffrey entered the room, it was her back that he first saw. She was just standing there, not moving. As he was about to ask her to move, she suddenly stomped her feet, moving forward quickly, as if angry, and not 3 steps after, he saw her about to fall, and so, he moved instinctively. Her soft waist was so small that when he wrapped his arm around it, he could not help himself from noting how perfectly it fit in his hand. And when he hoisted her up, he was assaulted by the smell of roses. He only regained his senses to let her go when he recalled Leonard's shout, only to realize that this girl was his fiancée. "Thank you, Your Highness," Serena said as she curtsied. Geoffrey didn't know how to reply, as if a cat got his tongue. This time, with her facing him up front, he fully saw his fiancée for the first time. It was no lie to say that she was a sight to behold. However, he can't help but notice how scandalous the dress she wears was, such that when she gave him a curtsy, he was given a full view of her cleavage. He didn't know if he should be angry or mortified, because he did check her out. Thankfully, Leonard arrived before he can say anything. "Thank you, Geoffrey, for saving my sister." "Serena, are you all right?" Leonard asked as he helped her up. "She has not stood from her curtsy yet." "Yes, I am, thanks to His Highness," Serena replied, looking innocently at Leonard. When Leonard fully saw Serena, he couldn't help himself but exclaim, "What is wrong with you? Please do look where you're going. And what is this you're wearing?" He quickly removed his coat and forced her to wear it. Serena wanted to bang her head somewhere. It seems like nothing is going her way this day. "Brother Leonard, that was an accident." "And what is wrong with my dress?" Serena replied as she saw Charlton and Kylo approaching behind Leonard. Leonard didn't know how to respond. One can't say that the dress is too revealing, for if it were any other girl wearing it, it would even appear normal. However, the color of the dress brought out the suppleness of her skin, while the fitting delicately suited her figure. Serena, not hearing Leonard's response and meeting Charlton's eyes as he reached her with Kylo, thought that there is no way that she's letting this chance go. "Lord Daniel, do you think that my dress is inappropriate?" Serena Sultry asked as she removed Leonard's coat from her shoulders, making it fall on the floor. Her question and action made the atmosphere so awkwardly silent that one may even hear a pin drop. Only when no one answered, talked or even dared breath, did it dawn to Serena what she just did with all these people present. That got to be the most awkward 5 seconds of my life. Serena pretended to chuckle, her shoulders heaving, while deep inside she just wanted to bury herself in a hole. No need to answer that, I was just kidding. Anyway, thank you Brother Leonard, and again Your Highness for saving me earlier. By the way, I am Serena Lillian Maxwell. Serena introduced herself as she faced her brother, then Geoffrey. Geoffrey was the first to recover, with his eyebrows furrowed he replied by saying, "Please conduct yourself with dignity, Miss Maxwell." After, he walked away from her, passing by his friends. Despite her beauty, she was still the girl his father wanted him to marry, and that did not sit well with him. Aside from that, her demeanor and etiquette were sorely lacking in comparison to the girl he was invested in. He saw Emily, who has been avoiding him since the assembly, in front and so he chose to sit near to where she was. Meanwhile, Leonard was so shocked of what Serena said that he could not even deign himself to get offended by what Geoffrey did. Has his sister always been like this? Not only did she ask another man about her attire, she even boldly introduced herself. Kylo was also speechless. He can only widen his eyes, gape, and shake his head. He himself will not even know what he'll do if he were in Geoffrey's shoes. Serena was not surprised. She already expected Geoffrey's response to her introduction, as it is also what happened in the novel. Serena introduced herself and he said the same line. Perhaps the only one offended for her was Charlton. What can one say? His eyes have long been hooded by the rose-tinted color of love. Hey Serena, so you're here already. Wow, you're so pretty today. Where did you get that dress? I am so getting one like that too. Giselle and Via will be meeting us here. Let's go sit together and save one for each of them. Millie said as she hooked her arm with Serena's. Oh, okay sure. Brother, we'll just sit here at the back. You go sit with your friends. Serena said as she already saw his things on the table in front. All right. I'm sorry for what I said earlier. Please don't take it to heart. I'm just worried about you. Leonard sincerely said. He wanted to ask her to sit with him, or him with her, but with what happened earlier, he thinks that his sister must want to save some face. Kylo wanted to say something but chose not to as, if he were to ask to sit with her together with Charlton, it might cause a misunderstanding with Geoffrey. As the three moved to leave, Charlton, our ever-so-reasonable second male lead turned and walked back toward Serena. Serena's eyes suddenly lit up with so much anticipation. This time, it was Serena who was struck speechless as she felt the heat creep up her cheeks. Her heart was beating so fast that she was afraid she might faint. Come on Serena, let's sit down. Millie said, smiling at her knowingly. I don't know what's going on, but I am now raising my white flag. I can certainly say that my crush is already enamored. That girl earlier, whatever her name was, well, she can go drown in the pool of her own tears. No hard feelings here though. As I can also see that you, my friend, are equally smitten. Do you think so too? Serena asked, not even having the decency to deny it. I know so. By the way, aren't you still engaged? Don't tell it to anyone, but I am so hoping that it will get broken. Well, I can't blame you. I kinda overheard what the jerk said earlier. He's not even that handsome. Serena giggled as she said, I agree. He is not as handsome as M.Y. Charlton and he is indeed a jerk. Well, what more can she say? There's nothing bad in placing her claim as she thought, no matter how much he denies it, he's already mine, it's just a matter of time. Chapter 18. Music Class 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Soon after, the room was filled with students. Serena sat on the seat beside the pathway, on her left were Millie, Giselle then Via. Meanwhile, Serena noticed that Emily was asked to sit in front by the teacher, so that she was seating on the right side of Geoffrey, having the pathway of the stairs between them. To the left of Geoffrey were Kylo, Charlton then Leonard. It seems like the mood amongst them was not so good as they have not spoken since they sat down. Good afternoon everyone. I am Felix Brahms, your music instructor. As I can see a lot of new faces, I assume that most of you are taking this subject in this school for the first time. I understand that everyone here has mastery, or basic at the very least, knowledge in using musical instruments. There are three main objectives in this class. First, is to ensure that you have complete grasp of the instrument that you're using. Second, is to make you capable of accompaniment. Lastly, our end goal is you being able to compose your own music. Although these can be done on your own, I see here 40 students listed in this class. Thus, I will later have to group you all in pairs. The teacher called a student who raised her arm. Sir Felix, do we get to choose our partner? Or will you decide it for us? It would be nice if you were to group yourselves, but based on my experience, it would be more fruitful to pair you up based on your skills. It is not that I am exercising any discrimination by pairing up students of the same caliber, but anything other than that will be disastrous. Is that all right with everyone? A resounding yes filled the room. Good. Then, since our class is a 3-hour subject and only meeting once a week, it would be a waste to dismiss you all early. So right now, I wish to proceed with a short introduction to our course by asking a demonstration from students. First, can we have a volunteer to show their skill in any musical instrument? No one dared to raise their hand. Whether for not wanting to show their skill or just not wanting to be judged, one can't say. After a while, Geoffrey was volunteered by Kylo. Sir, Geoffrey here wants to volunteer. Kylo shouted. Wonderful. Geoffrey, please come forward. Felix said. Geoffrey wanted to protest but can only move towards the stage. There was a piano, a violin, a cello, a guitar, and an unsanitary-looking flute on the stage. He chose the violin. Standing in front, he started playing J.S. Bach. Partita No. 1 in B minor. Afterwards, he bowed his head to everyone. Good, very good. That is the level of mastery I want everyone to achieve. Felix complimented as he clapped his hand. No can do sir, you think we can still live if we want to achieve that. Kylo jokingly said in a loud voice. Meanwhile, Millie elbowed Serena. Well, he is indeed talented I must say. Despite his attitude, he do have the looks and now I can see why a lot of girls also like him. You haven't seen my Charlton yet. You just wait. Serena said as she grinned. Now, this time, I want to give an example of accompaniment. Accompaniment is that which provides support for the main themes of an instrumental piece. There are many different styles and types of accompaniment in different genres and styles of music. A solo singer can accompany herself by playing a guitar or piano while she sings, and in some rare cases, a solo singer can even accompany himself or herself just using his or her voice and body. Alternatively, the accompaniment to a vocal melody or instrumental solo can be provided by ranging in size from a duo, a trio, a quartet or even more. Felix explained. I believe that not many of you have tried this as it is quite advanced. So, do we have any volunteers? He continued, Sir. Charlton here volunteers. Again, Kylo volunteered his friend. Kylo, you keep volunteering your friends. Do you want to come up the stage yourself? If I had that much skill, I would. But you know me sir. All right. Please come forward, Charlton. I hope you don't mind, but I wish to volunteer Ms. Emily as your accompaniment. I have been wanting to hear you too since I heard her at church. Felix said smiling from ear to ear. Ms. Emily. Yes, sir. I hope not to disappoint you. Emily replied humbly as she smiled at Charlton. Charlton smiled back as he moved to the stage, choosing the cello. Emily sat on the stool in front of the piano. Serena wanted to storm forward. How can this happen? How dare their teacher pair them together? She was wanting to volunteer, but she didn't even get the chance. Can you both please play Pachelbel's Canon in D? That's my favorite. Felix remarked. I'm so gonna kill that fat teacher. How dare he ask my Charlton play Pachelbel's with Emily? Are they getting married? Never on my watch. Serena thought. Her ears and nose almost emitting smoke. Hey Serena, your lover boy is playing, but why is your face looking like that? This song is like a confession, isn't it romantic? Millie whispered beside her. Romantic my ass. If I were the one playing, yes, sure. But this song will become the catalyst of them being partners in this class for the whole year. Never 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 on my watch is that going to happen. Don't mind me, Millie, I'm just concentrating on something. Don't tell me you're jealous over nothing. Sure, Emily's pretty, but you're the school goddess. Anyway, I've got to say that your pick sure is great in playing the cello. Serena just nodded. When Charlton and Emily finished, there was a resounding clap from the class. Very good. That is what everyone needs to learn. To be in complete sync with your partner. It might seem easy, but trust me, it takes a lot of skill and talent to be able to produce something as beautiful as that duet. Emily blushed beautifully and Charlton with his head bowed moved to sit back, not even peeking at Serena. Serena only felt better because she didn't see him to look at Emily even once while playing and after. As if saying that the music they produced together meant nothing. Now, our third goal is composing your own music. I wish to ask for a volunteer, but I think that this is too much to ask for during the first day of class. Serena could not stop herself from raising her hand. She is so not letting this chance slip away. Yes. The beautiful lady at the back. I volunteer, sir. Serena said, as all the students looked at her in surprise. Marvelous. Please come forward. Mississippi. Serena Maxwell, sir. Serena smiled as she slowly walked down the stairs. When she reached the stage, she gracefully sat in front of the piano. The piano was placed sideways in front of Emily, thus, the audience has a clear view of the one playing. Earlier, a lot of boys were ensnared with Emily's pure and innocent beauty. But now, with Serena sitting there, their breath was just taken away. She just stole Emily's spotlight in the dreams they will be having tonight. Okay, Miss Serena, may you please? Serena placed her hands on the piano as she breathed deeply. She's actually not that skilled with the piano, she has ever only memorized 3 classical pieces in her lifetime. However, what she has with her is a song list from the 20th to the 21st century. Thinking it through, as she has already been quite rusty, she can only choose to play one of the simplest and the easiest to like by all ages. Serena started playing and can't help herself from singing the lyrics. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you, shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes, some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes, some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you, for I can't help falling in love with you. When she was done playing, silence filled the room until Felix shouted, "Bravo!" Then thunderous applause filled the room. Truly deserving a standing ovation. Serena even had the decency to blush. I'm so sorry, Elvis, it seems like this grandma can only plagiarize your song. I'll just light you a candle tonight before I sleep. Serena told herself as she smiled her most winning smile and curtsied to everyone. TBC. Chapter 19. The Heart Wants What It Wants. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Charlton bowed his head as he walked back to his seat after he played the cello. He was afraid that his eyes would betray what his heart desires. When he saw Serena about to fall the stairs earlier, God only knows how terrified he was afraid his heart might lurch out of his ribcage. Thankfully, someone caught her. But when he saw Geoffrey with his arm wrapped around her waist, he wanted to do nothing more than to rip her away from him, so much so, that he felt his hands tremble. When Leonard left, he quickly excused himself from the conversation to follow. As he approached them, he saw how Geoffrey's eyes lingered on Serena as she dipped into a curtsy. He was immediately assaulted by feelings which he knows he has no right to have. He could hear his ears ringing but can only clench his jaw to hide his frustration. However, when he reached her, heard her address him and saw her remove Leonard's coat, his anger suddenly escaped him only to be replaced by a violent onslaught of shock and shame laced with a bit of triumph. Fortunately, Serena chuckled before he could utter something stupid in response. At the same time, he was annoyed with himself for being too much of a coward to stand up for her after Geoffrey's remark. Despite telling himself that he should know better, he could not help himself from turning back towards her to apologize and answer her question. Seeing her blushing face, he smiled, eyes twinkling and dimple showing. Not long after his performance, Serena volunteered to play her own song. He was surprised but knew that she had it in her. She was bold and daring, he realized. Traits which he used to scoff at in a woman, but now finds endlessly alluring. When he saw her sat in front of the piano, started playing, eyes full of concentration, he could not, for the life of him, tear his eyes away. Then she started to sing. Each word she sang tickled his heart, that from the start up to the end of her song, he could not, try as he might, stop the upward tilt of his lips. He could only close his eyes in defeat. The heart wants what it wants. And so, he swore to himself that if she were to knock on his door one more time, he will put everything on the line. As Emily finished playing the piano, Geoffrey was convinced that she was everything he has ever wanted. Beautiful, graceful, and humble. A real flower one can't help but want to protect. If not for his engagement, he would proudly proclaim to the world that this girl was his. On the other hand, Geoffrey was surprised when Serena volunteered herself to perform. Her attention-seeking behavior instigating his ire. Almost all the people present knew that she was his intended, and there she was, acting shamelessly, not even regarding her position. Yet, no matter how much he looked down on her conduct, when she started to play, he could not deny that her beauty and performance were soul-stirring. Unknowingly, Serena struck a chord in him, but he put it off as just appreciation for the song she sang. Bravo! Miss Serena! Bravo! Where have you been hiding all this time? All my life, I have never heard a song as beautiful as yours. I have been enraptured by your sheer brilliance. From now on, you shall be my muse. You are not simply a prodigy, you are a musical genius. I cannot praise you enough. I believe that your song will lead to a new era in the music industry. Felix can't help but gush, as if suddenly he was not their teacher but her die-hard fan. Serena couldn't stop herself from wanting to laugh, so she covered her mouth to stifle her laughter. How can I not laugh in this scenario? I just plagiarized and this is the result. I've never been praised this much my whole life. Felix stopped his gushing, seeing her expression. Don't laugh, I am being serious. I have never been wrong with my ears. If you were to let me guide you and polish this song more, I can guarantee your name being written in history. I'm not laughing, sir, it's just that I'm so happy that my song has been recognized. I never thought that I would be receiving this much praise. Thank you very much. Serena explained after composing herself. No, my dear, thank you. You have inspired me beyond words. All right, please be seated and do not leave the class just yet after I dismiss your classmates. Serena moved back her seat. Unfortunately, she was not able to bask on Charlton's reaction much. While playing, she was too busy in concentrating on the piano keys to ensure that she doesn't press the wrong ones to look elsewhere. After playing, she was only able to catch a glimpse of his reaction. However, it was definitely worth it. Although he was not looking at her, she did not fail to see his red face, curved eyes, and slightly tilted lips. If that song did not lead straight to his heart, I don't know what will. Serena thought. You got girls writing songs for you now. I must say that I am envious. Stop that smile, it gives me the chills. Kylo whispered to Charlton teasingly. Although he was sitting beside Jeffrey, he just can't hold back from making a comment. Charlton can only cover his mouth with his right palm. He can't stop his lips from raising. Hey Leonard, you didn't mention how talented your sister was. Kylo said, noticing Leonard being silent after being one of the people who made the loudest applause. Leonard just looked at him smugly. As if saying, do you even need to ask? That is already a given. Wow, you just made our instructor worship the grounds you walk on. Haha. Giselle said laughingly as Serena sat back on her seat. But seriously, that was splendid. That was really beautiful. I can't agree more. Via commended. True that. I can already imagine you playing that song on my wedding. Promise me you'll play it for me when the time comes. Millie gushed. Serena can't help herself from laughing with what Millie said. In her previous life, it has been one of the most overrated wedding songs. Seems like it will soon spiral to that too. TBC. Chapter 20. The heart wants what it wants too. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, so for next week, I task everyone to prepare yourselves and perform a piece in class. This will be used as assessment on the level of your mastery. You may use whichever instrument you want. So, that's it for the day. Thank you very much and see you all next Friday. Felix instructed as he dismissed the students. Serena, I'll wait for you here. Let's go out shopping in town later. Millie suggested. Alright, I hope this won't take long. Sorry guys, Via and I have to leave. We're meeting my brother, George. Our parents just arrived this morning and wishes to have dinner with us tonight. Giselle dejectedly stated, wanting to spend more time with the girls. No worries Giselle, we still have the whole year ahead. Serena replied with a smile. Walking to the front, Serena noticed that Kylo, Leonard and Jeffrey were still seated while Emily and Charlton were standing on each side of the teacher's table as they spoke with Felix who was in the middle. Serena stood across Felix. Ms. Serena, thank you for joining us. As I was saying to Mr. Charlton and Ms. Emily here earlier, my dear niece will be having her wedding next month. Initially, I just wanted to have them perform a Canon D duet on her wedding, but when I heard your song, I just knew that adding that would be most wonderful. If you so agree, we can use this event for your exposure. At the same time, it will be a soft debut of your song to gauge the reaction of audiences. Of course, this is a favor and I'm sure my niece and her husband will be most thankful to you as your song will truly make their wedding memorable. When Serena heard that Felix still wanted to pair up the two, she really wanted to crack his head and see what's running in that mind of his. If she didn't know better, she would assume that he's playing as their matchmaker. Suddenly, as if inspired, a bright idea came to Serena's mind. I understand sir, but as you said earlier, my song still needs some polishing. So, I came up with an idea as I was so inspired by the duet made earlier. So, I too want to have an accompaniment with my song. Serena suggested slyly. Yes. That is a great idea. Mr. Jeffrey, if you may please. Please come join us. Yes, sir. Jeffrey, called into attention, replied as he stood up and walked over. He stood next to Serena. Do you have time on the 28th of next month? I understand that your schedule is usually packed, but it is a Sunday. Felix asked. It will be quite tight, but I think I can make time. Great. As you may have heard, I wanted to ask these three here to perform on my niece's wedding scheduled on that day. Would you mind pairing up with Ms. Serena here in playing her song? Actually sir, since this is a new song, I think I will be needing more time in practicing with the person I will be paired with. His Highness might be quite busy and I'm afraid to impede too much of his time. Geoffrey was about to refute her but Serena didn't even give him the chance to speak. So I was thinking, since Pachelbel's is a famous classic, I believe that it would be better to let His Highness perform that with Miss Emily instead. Serena finished. Now take that. You will never find a loophole there and I highly doubt that male lead here will turn down the chance to spend more time with his Emily. Geoffrey felt that what she said was not quite right but had to swallow his opinion. Although he doesn't mind spending some time with her, thinking that he should at least, as her fiancé, give getting to know her better a try, he still had his heart invested on Emily. Well, that makes sense. But Felix replied a bit unsure as he faced Geoffrey. He only deigned to ask the Crown Prince to join because he thought that he might agree just to give face to his own fiancée. What do you say, Mr. Geoffrey? Will that be all right? Geoffrey noted the smile on Serena's face making him feel a bit uneasy, but he also wanted to have a valid reason to be with Emily. So he nodded his head saying yes. Be nove calm, wonderful. Felix said as he clapped. By the way, let me introduce the two of you. Ms. Emily, this is Geoffrey William, Mr. Geoffrey, this is Emily Evans, I hope that the two of you can get along well. Geoffrey nodded at Emily, and Emily curtsied. If Serena haven't read the novel, she would think that these two just met each other for the first time. Truly deserving the Oscar. Then Felix continued, then, Mr. Charlton, I know it might be time-consuming, but knowing the music prodigy that you are, I'm sure you can manage. So, do you mind if I pair you up with Ms. Serena? Serena this time looked at Charlton from the corner of her eyes with her left brow raised, as if daring him to say no. Charlton shook his head, smiling as he directly looked at Serena in the eye and said, no sir, I don't mind. Well, not this time. You cannot regret this. He thought as he saw her face bloom dazzlingly. Hearing him agree, Serena's heart was so full of delight that her eyes can't help but shine and her mouth form a smile showing her teeth. You can feel happiness exuding from her in waves that it is almost tangible. Geoffrey looked at her strangely feeling that there was something weird going on. However, he chose not to comment as he still felt guilty about purposely choosing to pair up with Emily while Serena knew none the better. He also told himself not to judge her as he didn't know her well enough. Great. Then it is settled. Now, regarding our schedule. I understand that it might be difficult for us to settle on a fixed time frame, so I hope that I can trust you to work with your own partner even when not supervised. I consider you four as virtuous young adults with proper morals. As this is a favor, I will give you access in using the private music rooms at the end of the corridor to rehearse in after classes and on weekends. However, please do inform me if you face any difficulties. I will also need to check on your progress from time to time. For this, we can just schedule it after our class. Do you have any questions? Serena shook her head, Emily said none, sir, while the other two boys remained silent. Well then, as I hear no question being raised, then I thank the four of you in advance. I look forward towards your masterpiece. Felix said as he nodded, fumbled his bag, then gave Charlton and Geoffrey a key each, and smiled at them. Serena felt her pulse quicken when she saw their instructor handing Charlton a key. He just gave her plenty of ideas on what she and Charlton can do in the private room he was talking about. No sir, thank you. We will make a masterpiece indeed. Serena thought as she eyed Charlton who winked at her. TBC.